Some evenings arrive like a weight on the chest. The room is quiet, the bills are not. The heart keeps asking why prayer seems to fall back to the floor. If that is you, breathe for a moment. Notice your shoulders, the way they try to live two lives at once. One that trusts God in the secret place, and another that repeats old phrases in the rush of the day. I see your exhaustion. I see the hidden grief, the deadlines, the subtle pressure to perform strong for everyone else. What if the silence you call heaven closed is not a rejection, but a gentle invitation to reorder the inner world where your words, attention, and small daily choices first take root? Here is the honest frame we will use tonight. Blessings do not vanish. They are blocked by patterns that we can unlearn and replant. Proverbs brings these patterns into the light with simple, practical wisdom. Joseph Murphy helps us understand why they feel so stubborn. The deeper mind is a fertile soil, always receiving and growing whatever seed we repeat with feeling. When fear is rehearsed, fear finds water. When complaint becomes a rhythm, delay becomes a harvest. Proverbs is clear. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. 18:21. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. 4:23. Feel those words in your body not as threat, but as mercy. Your tongue is not just sound, it's a steering wheel. Your heart is not just emotion, it's a wellspring. When the inner and outer life disagree, the stream turns muddy and slow. We will keep our feet on the ground. Norman Vincent Peale gave a simple path that honors both faith and action. Prayerize, visualize, actualize. Pray with specificity, not to perform, but to align. See with clarity, not to escape, but to focus. Act with consistency, not to impress, but to build. This is not hype. It is a quiet craft learned in ordinary rooms, over unglamorous weeks, with God's steady presence. As you listen, let your breathing even out. Let your jaw unclench. Let your mind grow just a little quieter than the world around you. Across the next minutes, we will decode 3 red flags that often cancel progress without you noticing. A tongue that contradicts what the knees just prayed. A rush for shortcuts that feels like courage but empties the soul. And alliances, voices, and rooms that drain your focus and soften your discipline. We will name the inner physics behind each one in the language of both Proverbs and practical psychology, and then we will hand you a 24-hour and a 7-day protocol to reopen the path. No grand promises, only clear intention, steady steps, and a quiet heart. You don't need applause, you need alignment. By the end, you will have simple, living tools, a complaint fast that retrains your words, a spiritual traffic light that slows impulsivity into wisdom, and a Proverbs circle that turns solitude into shared accountability. Before we begin, settle this truth gently. You are not broken. You're rebuilding with God. The ground of your life may feel hard, but soil responds to faithful seed. Tonight, we speak life where death sentences have been rehearsed. We guard the heart where distractions have taken root. We choose a tone for our inner world that agrees with heaven's patience. And we prepare to walk, one small step, one small confession, one small act, until the stream runs clear again. Some prayers rise like incense, yet the rest of the day the tongue turns into a slow leak that empties the heart. A person asks for open doors and then keeps repeating, almost without noticing, that nothing works, that the country is broken, that strength is gone. Proverbs names the current. Words shape outcomes. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. 18:21. Careless speech cuts like a blade. 12:18. Joseph Murphy's image of the deeper mind as fertile soil fits here. Whatever is planted with feeling and repetition will search for water and grow. When the mouth cancels what the knees just offered to God, the inner life splits, alter, and routine stop agreeing, and the stream turns muddy. In the body, that split feels like a tight chest, a shallow breath, a jaw set to defend. In the brain, the reticular activating system begins filtering the world to confirm the phrases it hears most, while the basal ganglia stores those phrases as habits. The result is not a curse from heaven, it is a harvest from seeds sown daily. The good news is simple. New seed changes the field. There is a quiet way back that does not shame you. For one day, complaint becomes a signal rather than a master. Each time a negative sentence appears, the mind notices. The hand shifts a small token from one pocket to the other, and a different sentence is spoken that leans on Scripture instead of fear. Commit your works to the Lord, Proverbs 16:3, is not a performance, it is a rhythm. In the evening, 3 phrases that once drained courage are rewritten as prayer targets: request, promise, next honest step, and read softly before sleep, then again after waking. Over a week, a small journal gathers these replacements, and the body begins to expect the new pattern. The breath slows, the shoulders lower. This is not magic, it is coherence. The heart and the mouth begin to walk in the same direction. One question stays as a compass. If every sentence I repeat were a seed, what kind of field is about to grow around me? Sit with that image for a moment. Hear the ground. Feel the weight of words become weight of fruit. Notice how your body responds when a sentence of life is spoken slowly and believed a little more each day. Hurry promises relief, not wisdom. It feels brave in the moment, bold, fast, decisive, yet leaves a wake of scattered plans, half-kept vows, and a tired soul. Proverbs draws a different tempo. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. 21:5, while gains made in a rush fade like mist. 13:11-20:21. Inside the body, anxious speed shows up as jittery hands and a racing mind looking for the next micro-reward. Dopamine spikes train attention toward shortcuts. The future is discounted, the present demands its fix. What looks like faith may be only noise in a hurry, an urgency to quiet fear rather than a courage rooted in counsel, integrity, and process. Real faith has a gait. It walks, it checks, it builds. A gentler pattern restores breath to decision-making. Before any large choice, there is a pause, a simple 2-minute stillness where the heart names the intention before God. Then the lens of Proverbs comes close. Is there diligence here? Is there honest counsel? Is there a plan that withstands daylight? If the answers form a quiet yes, the next step becomes clear. Over 7 days, one arena of life, work, study, savings, a small side project, receives a 1% improvement each day. Not a splash, a drift. Measurable, almost ordinary. Minutes tracked, a call returned, a page studied, a small expense trimmed. The body begins to associate progress with calm rather than adrenaline. The mind learns to enjoy steady forward motion. A single sentence brings the rush to truth. Is what I am calling faith actually wisdom-guided courage, or only urgency trying to escape discomfort? If that question softens your breath and slows your pulse, something honest is returning. The path that lasts is rarely loud at the beginning. It is crafted in small, repeatable movements that honor God and guard the heart. Rooms have climates, voices have weather. Some conversations leave the body lighter, the spine taller, the mind clean. Others coat the spirit with a film of cynicism that takes hours to wash off. Proverbs names the dynamic with plain clarity. Walk with the wise and become wise. 13:20. Avoid the quick-tempered, lest their storms become your own. 22:24-25. Do not step onto paths that pull you from discipline and purpose. 4:14-15. Neuroscience offers a matching lens. Mirror neurons echo the moods we witness. Emotional contagion shapes our baselines. Environment becomes a trigger for habit. Love does not erase boundaries. Stewardship defines them. Guilt confuses the two and keeps people sitting in rooms that shrink them. A simple practice of awareness turns the lights on. List the 10 voices that occupied the most space in the past week. People, feeds, group chats, podcasts, break room corners. Without anger, mark the effect of each, lifts, lowers, or neutral. One meeting is adjusted toward wisdom. One exposure is shortened or moved to a healthier hour. One invitation is extended to someone who sharpens you. Over time, a small circle forms. 2 or 3 people who open Proverbs together, choose one shared goal, and hold each other with kind accountability. The body recognizes the new climate, slower exhale, longer focus, fewer spikes of defensiveness. The inner life notices that solitude has companionship now. Seriousness has company. A question remains like iron against iron. Who sharpens my character, and who blunts my edge? Let the answer be honest, not dramatic. Sometimes the smallest shift in company redraws the season. Sometimes one wise voice changes the weather of an entire week. Public faith can coexist with private scripts of unworthiness, fear of loss, or suspicion toward good news. That quiet conflict makes the heart tired. Proverbs invites a guarded center. Above all, guard your heart. 4:23. A committed path. Commit to the Lord whatever you do. 16:3. And a trusting posture that straightens the way. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and He will make your paths straight. 3:5-6. Joseph Murphy's insight clarifies the mechanics. The subconscious accepts repeated emotional impressions. What is rehearsed with feeling becomes likely. Hebbian learning says it simply, what fires together, wires together. Mental rehearsal is not fantasy. It is training for attention and action. A threefold rhythm brings the scattered parts into agreement. First, the seed. One petition is written with operational verbs, anchored in a promise from Proverbs, and paired with a simple metric of obedience that can be observed without theatrics. Second, the soil. A brief prayer vision is recorded in your own voice, 90 seconds of calm description of the next faithful step, seen and spoken as if it were being carried out with God's company. Third, the season. Micro works of 15 to 25 minutes become the daily proof, small, doable, specific. The body learns the pattern. The mind expects the cue. The heart feels relief because intention finally has a shape. A question gathers the whole movement into one line. Does my schedule confirm what my mouth confesses? If the answer begins to change, even slightly, you will feel it first in your breathing, then in your focus, and only later in your results. Coherence is quiet at the start, but fruits sing loudly in their own time. Consistency is the bridge between desire and evidence. Proverbs points the way with farmer-like logic. Prepare your work outside before you build, 24:27. Let diligent hands work steadily, 10 pure. And seek counsel, because safety lives there, 11:14. A simple frame, prayer-eyes, visualize, actualize, turns intentions into movement without noise. In one day, 3 requests are named before God, one spiritual, one relational, one financial, each resting on a short verse from Proverbs, each married to a single next step that could fit into 20 focused minutes. The mind is shown the concrete picture of that step, the call placed, the spreadsheet opened, the resume updated, the budget sketched. Then the action lands quietly on the calendar and is carried out with the gentleness you would offer a friend. No rush, no drama, only honesty. Across 7 days, the plan breathes. On the first day of the week, each request is divided into 5 micro steps. The middle days carry the work, 20 to 30 minutes of attention that can be measured without anxiety. Toward week's end, numbers are reviewed with kindness, and the small circle, those 2 or 3 companions of wisdom, offers perspective. The final day gathers a short testimony of what shifted, not to impress anyone, but to honor the seeds that were planted and watered. Stories like this already exist. A woman in her 40s once replaced a well-worn sentence of defeat with Proverbs 21:5, started a 1% fund with the smallest daily amount she could manage, and over 90 days watched one overdue bill disappear while new clients arrived through relationships born in prayer. Nothing flashy, only steady fruit. One more question is worth keeping near. If this quiet protocol is honored for 30 days, what small miracle of order and opportunity might emerge? Do not force an answer. Let the heart imagine it while the hands keep working. The soil understands seasons better than clocks. The patterns that block blessing are not mysteries meant to shame you. They are habits that can be retrained. A tongue that cancels prayer, a hunger for shortcuts, and alliances that drain the spirit. Each of these shifts when the seed of language, the pace of diligence, and the climate of community change. Joseph Murphy's key remains practical. Substitution joined to emotional repetition. Complaint gives way to confession rooted in Proverbs until the soil responds. Norman Vincent Peale's triad stays sturdy. Prayerize with specificity. Visualize the next clear step. Actualize through consistent action. For a week, let the complaint fast, the spiritual traffic light, and the proverb circle become a shared experiment in alignment. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and He will make your path straight. Prov 3:5-6. If it helps to anchor the decision, write down which red flag you will face this week and name one 20-minute micro work that will carry your faith from intention to motion. Then, let the work speak. Quiet discipline will make the results loud in their time.